All right, so let's look at some Z-score problems. I guess before I start, I got to remind you that the Z-score formula was Z equals X minus X bar over S, where X is the data item, X bar is your mean, and S is your standard deviation. So for number 28, they're gonna, for these Z-score questions, they're gonna give you the Z, the X bar, or the S, and you solve for whatever they want. So in this case, I'm gonna write down what they give me. A set of data items is normally distributed with the mean of 50. So the mean is X bar. The standard deviation is S. And they want us to convert 49 to a Z-score. That number is your X. So X is 49, okay? And if they tell you Z sub 49 equals blank, then that means we're going to find the Z-score for that. So the Z-score is X, which is 49, minus X bar, which was 50, all over 4. Now, in this one, I will get minus 1 over 4. It's okay to get a negative number. That happened because 49 is to the left of 50. Here, they want you to round to the nearest hundredth. I got a decimal. You could just type that decimal in. I'm sorry, I got a fraction. You could type that in for your decimal. So if I type this in, we should know that it's 0.25, but that's why. Minus 0.25 minus 0.25, and that's it. Okay, so let's look at another one. This one is a little more interesting because it's got a few parts here. All right, so in number 35, talking about the IQ tests, intelligent quota. So it's given us two different tests. Test A has a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 17. Test B has a mean of 100, standard deviation of 14. So we want to compare two people's scores based on which test they got or test they took to see, I suppose, which one has, the better result. So I got two things. I need to kind of separate them. So test A, I'm going to do stuff over here for test A, and then I'm going to do stuff for test B. Okay. Test A has a mean of 100. So I'm going to write down X bar equals 100. And the standard deviation of 17. I want to make sure everything I write for test A is next to test A. Test B, well, it also has a standard deviation of 100. And its mean is 100. Its standard deviation is 14. Okay, so they are different, so the results should be different. Use a Z-score to determine which person has a higher IQ. Person who scored 122 on test A, well, that is my X. And scores a 126 on test B. So I need to work Z-scores for each of these and then compare which one is bigger. Okay, that's it. So Z is, of course, the formula is X minus X bar over S. Z is 122 minus 100 over 17. Let's do that math. Of course, this is 22 over 17. So if I leave it like that, then I get a different fraction over here. it's going to be a little hard to compare those fractions. So let's go ahead and just type that in the calculator and see what we get. 1.294117647. I don't think I need to go that far, but if it goes out further than what I rounded, then I have to do it again. So let's do it over here. Z is 126 minus 100 over 14. Okay, so that's 26 over 14. Let's do that. 26 over 14 is 1.857142857. All right, so which one is bigger? Obviously this one. So this is the winner. So let's see how they ask the question. The question says, who has the higher IQ? This guy does, test B. So the individual who scores 126 on test B, yes. So in the event that you had gotten the same number, then you would choose C, but it's probably just A or B. All right. And then let's look at 39. 39 is the same kind of question we were doing before. Except in this case, they want you to find the data item, which is X. Okay. So let's write down what they have. First of all, remember my formula. I'm always going to write that formula down, and then I'm going to write down what I got and what I want. So the mean is 800. That's X bar. The standard deviation, S, is 30. Find the data item, X, I'll put a question mark, if the distribution given this Z-score. So the Z-score is minus 1.3. All right, well, let's see what happens. Let's work this out. Let's plug that stuff in. Z, oh, let me go ahead and plug stuff in. Minus 1.3 equals X, we don't know it, minus X bar over S. All right, we did one of these in the notes, but we're doing this one just because we have to do some algebra, and that's it. So I want to solve for X. The first thing I got to do is get rid of this denominator. So I'm going to multiply that by 30. So 30 will cancel out with that 30. If I multiply the left by 30, I'm sorry, if I multiply the right by 30, well, I better multiply the left as well. Okay. So this is a weird decimal. So I'm going to go ahead and just type this one in. 30 times 1.3 negative. Okay, it turns out it gives us not a decimal, so that's very nice. Minus 39. Now, on the right side, by multiplying both sides by multiplying by 30, this 30, the fraction will cancel out with this 30. Okay, so I have X minus 800 over 1, or just X minus 800. Then to solve this for X, all I gotta do is add 800. So, since I already have that number in my calculator, the previous number, I just go plus 800. I get 761. Okay, and that's it. So that is the data item for number 39, 761. All right, let's see if there's anything else. I think that's all we're going to do. Yep. Okay.